All right, what's up, everybody watching on YouTube right now? We are just going live with everything that's happening inside of Gather. So if you're watching on YouTube, that's fine. We're just gonna plug right into what's happening in Gather here. But if you are interested in joining us, the link is pinned in the YouTube chat. So feel free to join us inside of Gather. There are 19 of your Webflow friends hanging with us right now inside of Gather. So we're gonna have a little bit of fun. What's up, everybody inside of Gather? Can we get let's see, what is it, Z to dance? Or let's get a bunch of confetti going on in here. Yeah, throw some confetti, there we go. Show everybody on YouTube what they're missing out. So if you're on YouTube watching, jump in to Gather. This stream will disappear after this show, so this is really just a tool to try to get folks in to Gather with us. But once a month we get together and hang out and do some show and tell things. So we were expecting Melissa. I wonder if Melissa, maybe she got tied up on some client stuff. So I expect Melissa Mendez will join us here in just a moment. Colleen, do you want to share with folks what to expect? And yeah, let's run through everything here.
Yeah, no, that would be great to do. So excited to have so many people RSVPing for today. We've got a number of new things that we're trying. So kind of, if anything isn't going well, please give us a little bit of grace. We're really excited. So I'm gonna in a moment be dropping a link in the chat so that if you are interested in presenting today, that you can sign up and get into the queue. I've already started to make some updates to the show and tell website so that you're able to get a link to see who is queued up to present. We'll be listening to presentations for about 5 minutes, followed by several minutes of Q&A, along with some commentary from Raymmar and from Melissa.
Nice.
Hi, guys.
Yes, great. And there's Melissa.
Welcome, Melissa.
So excited to be here.
Nice. All right, yeah. So, okay, there's lots of folks in here. This is the first time we got Melissa in the house. We got some Webflow party folks in the house. We got some Webflow show folks in the house. So shout out to everybody. Who's first on deck, Colleen? Who's our first show and tell? Maybe we should walk people through a little bit of how it's supposed to go. So real quick, each participant will get 5 minutes to present. And then up to 3 minutes for Q&A. If the conversation's going deep and things get real heavy, we might go a little bit longer. So just a heads up. Let's see, rule number 2, event will continue until we run out of presenters or until we hit 90 minutes. So we'll go for about an hour and a half, whichever comes first, 90 minutes or we run out of presenters. Let's see. Presenter order will be completely at random except for the first one. I do believe we have the first one lined up. After that, we're just going to pull from the form. Colleen, have we shared that with everyone who's in here?
I did just share it, and I think our first person I'm not seeing them having arrived just yet.
Okay.
And I'm also not seeing anyone yet who has completed the form.
Okay. So we're trying something different here. We had some folks lined up to share. So some of y'all here have maybe already signed up to present, and Maria's not here yet. So maybe we'll let somebody jump up on stage before Maria gets here. If you could mute yourself inside of Gather, if you're not talking at this point, if you could mute yourself if you're not presenting, that would be great. Okay, and then rule number 4, let's see. All presentations should be tied back to Webflow somehow. So anybody's welcome on stage, but you should be tying the presentation back to Webflow at some level. And then let's see, final rule here, event will follow the Webflow community code of conduct, which means, just don't be a jerk. We're here trying to support everyone in their quest to be Webflow developers and to maybe chart a new creative path. And so anyway, the creative futures are here. We're not dogging on anybody. This is all about positive feedback and reinforcement. If you have questions, feel free to ask questions. If you have comments, feel free to ask, and share. And if you're looking for feedback, you can ask for specific feedback. If you don't want feedback, you're welcome to share and just say, hey, I don't want any comments or feedback, and walk off the stage. So that's how it's going to work. Colleen, has our first person come in? If not, maybe we can have Melissa say hi for just a second.
So we do have, I just put in the chat, Nicola Toledo is our first person.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
And so if you want to, I can just have one quick second before you start, because we are trying a couple things new.
Okay.
And so I think hopefully Raymmar, I've got the right slide up.
Okay. I was like, hey, what's happening? Something's happening here. Okay.
So this is everyone kind of bearing a little bit of grace with us as we kind of move forward with things. So I am also everyone should I'm about to share a timer. Is everyone able to see the timer?
Yes.
And gather? Okay. So Nicola, when you start, I'm gonna I'll
the countdown.
Start going,
okay.
I will start the timer.
Yeah, and just a heads up.
So let me
gather everyone. You can minimize Colleen's timer because probably when she started sharing that, it went full screen for you. So you can minimize that timer, and then you can maximize whatever screen. So if you click on somebody's face, it'll go full screen. If Nicola starts sharing his screen, it should go full screen as well. But if it doesn't and you click on it, it'll go full screen for you. That way you can all follow along with what's being shared. So we do have a special guest today. Melissa is in the house, so from Webflow Party, and she's co-hosting the event with us. Melissa, so do you want to take a second and just say hello to everyone?
Sure. I'm so excited to be here, guys. As some of you may know, I host the Webflow parties on Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm also a growth marketer and Webflow designer.
Nice. Great.
That's all.
It's good to have you here. And Melissa will be sharing feedback and asking questions and, other good things as we go. So Nicola, feel free to take the stage. If you want to step up to the mic. So if you're in the gather space and you just come up here to this mic area, you'll see that you'll be featured on the map, spotlighted, I guess that's what it's called. So feel free to come on up and take your spot. And let's go from there. Stage is all yours.
Perfect. So I can share my screen, eh? Let's see if it's working.
Yep, got your screen.
Can you see?
Yep, we got your screen.
Perfect. Okay. So I will just take this out. Okay. So this is a project that I was working last week, and I want to have first thank you for the opportunity and the amazing community. I really like all this, what you do, and the effort that you do for always create these events. So this is the project, and I created for the first time and I applied the client first, fluid responsive. So I had a little bit of problem at the beginning. Why? Because I didn't know about the client first that was here, actually, the fluid design generator. I didn't know about this. So I started with the website, inside the website. And the problem was that I didn't have the breakpoint. Okay. So what was the problem at the beginning? That when I was changing the size, basically this was the results. So the website just changed a little bit, but not like I want. So then playing with the breakpoint and the size, I realized that the trick was to have for each breakpoint that I have in Webflow, the right size, not the pixel. So then I did this one. So when I change for each breakpoint, okay. So the point was, you really need to understand well how to put the right number, pixel, and if not, you have just to try and see if it's working with the right amount of pixel. And something that I really like about your live stream some months ago was to put 0 to 16. So in this way, when you are in the mobile, in every size is the same. So this was really helpful. And this is what I was working on. Then obviously some animation, etc. But the most important was the fluid responsive. And it's very important also to sorry, to have for every element the size set. So I have rem, every element have a size with rem. This is very important. Otherwise, when you change the breakpoint, the element will grow too much. No, so it's important to have for every size the rem. And then if you have pixel, the element will not grow. So it's very simple in comparison to the other one that is Wizard-D, if I'm right. That you have to use M and all the calculation. So I really like the fluid responsive, and I think it's really helpful for us. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you for sharing your implementation of fluid responsive here. We can, let's see, maybe drop your screen share. Let's see. So Melissa or Colleen, any questions for Nicola, or anybody from the crowd here? Questions for Nicola? Questions about fluid responsive? I know that was like a crash course if you don't know about fluid responsive and client first, but any questions there for Nicola?
I don't have questions. I really wanted to say that it looks beautiful. I love the typography that you used, the animation that you gave to each element. I think that the responsiveness works perfect. I saw in one of the breakpoints that the title states centered. I think maybe it was mobile landscape. So
Yes.
I would just make sure that that is aligned to the left. But apart from that, I thought it was beautiful. I mean,
Yeah,
really
I forgot to
good
say
job.
that the website is not finished yet. So I need to, like you
Yeah.
said, that breakpoint I need to adjust. But yes, it's was
Yeah, it
fun
looks-
to build.
Yeah, it looks really, really great. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think I was paying more attention to the design as well than some of the other pieces that you were saying, unfortunately, because I was kind of overwhelmed with just kind of the beauty of it. So, and a website is never done.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. Loved it.
Nice. Okay, Nicola, thank you so much for sharing. So it's just that easy. If you're watching and hanging with us on YouTube, welcome to the Webflow Community Show and Tell. We're hanging out in Gather. So if you're watching on YouTube, there's, let's see, 24 of y'all, but there's 37 in Gather. So I don't know. If you're in Gather and watching YouTube, keep dancing. Otherwise, well, maybe just get up and share something. So Colleen, who's next?
Okay, so let me just kind of run through a couple of the folks that are next. So Matthew Buzel is going to be next, followed by Garrett Mack, Kevin Watkins, Thiago Cerez Loreo. And throughout the event, I'll be putting in the chat kind of heads up about who's coming up next. But Matthew, you're up, and then Garrett after Matthew.
Nice. And the clock will start as soon as you do. Matthew, you're up.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for putting this on. And Nicola, that was such a great presentation. So thanks for letting me follow. But yeah, I'm Matthew. I'm one of the creators of a product called WhaleSync. We let you use your Airtable base to power your Webflow site. So instead of using the Webflow CMS, you can use an Airtable base and have that data be displayed in your Webflow site. So yeah, we'd love to just go through a quick demo if that works for everybody here.
Nice. Go for it.
All right. Does everyone see my screen okay?
Yes.
Perfect. So this is the WhaleSync dashboard. For this quick little run through, what I've done is set up a super simple blog post site in Webflow. Right now, there are no blog posts, but we have them in an Airtable base. And so what we'll do is use WhaleSync to sync those blog posts from Airtable into the Webflow CMS and then display them here. So if we come back up to WhaleSync, basic idea is you come in, you hit create new base. That'll bring you through a little setup flow, hit get started. First thing is just connecting to the two tools. So to connect to Airtable, we first just need to grab an API key and paste it in here. We then come back over to base, grab a base sharing link. And if anyone's not as familiar with Airtable, happy to go through this more slowly later, but going through it quickly here. Continue. Same idea for Webflow. We're just going to go ahead and grab an API key from the settings page and integrations, generate API, copy, and paste that in. What that's going to do is pull up the data tables that are in each. And so we have a blog post table and a categories table. And so we can just map them over to each other so that we're basically saying that this table and Airtable should map to this collection in Webflow. Hit continue. And that brings you to the fields page. And same idea, we have a name field, a slug, right? And same idea in our Webflow collection, we just map them to each other. What you'll probably notice is that these have been auto-mapped because the names are the same, but if you just want to map them manually, you can do it this way. So if you want to take, let's just say, our image field and map it over to the main image here at Webflow, we can do that like that. Hit complete, come back over here to the dashboard, turn syncing on, and basically just saying all that data that we have in Airtable, sync it over to Webflow immediately. And then from here on out, anytime I create a new blog post in Airtable or update a blog post, delete one, sync that to Webflow as well. And so if we come back over to Webflow and we go to the designer, and now we've got blog posts. So we see them populate here. This is all working through the CMS. So they're populating in this blog posts page. And every time we refresh, we should see more until all the ones that we have populated are syncing into Webflow. And just last thing I'll mention is we do have an issues page. So we've set everything up correctly here, so there are no issues. But if Airtable or Webflow throws any sort of error because a name is off, a slug is off, something like that, it'll show up here. So you have kind of insight to be able to go fix things as they come in. But yeah, that's about it.
That's really, really cool. I love that, Matthew. I have a question. Does that work also for e-commerce, I assume?
Good question. Not yet. We've had a bunch of people ask us for Webflow ecom, and so we definitely want to build that soon. But today is just the Webflow CMS.
That's awesome. And if you wanted to add any type of custom, like let's say that we need a specific field pulled, is there a way to add some type of code to pull a specific field, or it's only we have to stick to the ones that are in the CMS that we can pull?
Interesting. Like, yeah, what kind of field do you have in mind?
So for example, if I need to pull, well, I guess this is something that I'm just applying it from something that happened to me on an e-commerce. So I needed to pull the product SKU, and that's not something that you can usually pull from Webflow. So we had to create a code for that.
Interesting. Yeah, so if I'm understanding correctly, right now the data is all going from Airtable to Webflow. And so any type of field that the CMS and Webflow supports, we can sync that in pretty much, other than I think video links is the one that we don't have yet. But yeah, I think anything that works with the Webflow CMS or eventually Webflow e-commerce CMS should be something we should be able to populate.
Awesome.
Nice.
I loved it.
Thanks.
We had somebody in the YouTube comments that said, well done, whale sync, and then they changed that to, I mean, whale done. So Vlad's punny presence is with us here in the just for everybody.
Well, thanks so much, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, Matthew. Shout out Kenneth Christensen for that comment. So, okay, Colleen, who's next?
Next up is Garrett Mack, followed by Kevin Watkins, followed by Thiago Cerez Lareo. And if I'm not saying your name right, let me know in the chat, please.
Nice. Okay, Garrett, you're up.
Okay, so do I just stand here and that's good? Or there's not a button I'm forgetting to press, is there?
You're in it.
Okay, great. Well, hi, everybody. I'm going to put on my screen share here. And what I want to show to the community today is a tool that I've made called Firebased. This is a kind of instruction manual / clonable UI kit / code generator that, in summary, helps you get free memberships and user login functionality in any Webflow project without having to code. In 2018, a Webflow developer called Jason Dark had this marvelous tutorial series on how to use Firebase Auth. But then in 2021, I think, Firebase updated the whole thing with new syntax, which broke it. And no one's come up with a tutorial since then. So I wanted to sort of give back because those tutorials really helped me. What this can do is it gives you, first and foremost, a clonable project, which has these modular forms for sign up, sign in, and sign out that are already in it. With the a couple of testing tools in here that I can come back to later. And when you open it in the designer, it looks a little bit like this. And what you're going to do with this is follow the instructions in this tab to set up a project in Firebase. And if you've never used Firebase before, or you've never heard of it, it's basically just a suite of cloud services that can help you add back-end functionality to something like a Webflow project. These are all very straightforward step-by-step instructions on how to go through it. There's also a YouTube tutorial, which you can find by going back to the Home tab and clicking on Watch the Tutorial here. But what this will do is walk you through the process of setting up your account with Firebase. And then once you're there, all you'll have to do is go to your project settings tab and get this little code snippet right here. And I know that I'm going quickly, but this is all in the instructions as well. And so you copy this, go back to Firebase and paste it into the code generator. And then it'll spit out all of the site-wide code that you need to actually make the sign up, sign in, and sign out forms work. All that you have to do is copy that code. And if you're using the Finsweet plugin, go to Candies and custom code here and paste the whole thing in the footer code. I've already got some here. And when you go ahead and publish the site, you can see that it's already going to work. And I have some test accounts that I can play with here that will demonstrate how you can test this thing. But these hidden elements, I just want to check on my time. Okay, I'm not doing so bad. Similar to MemberStack, if you've used MemberStack before, if you want to handle visibility, you just give something an attribute of data dash on login with show or hide based on how you want something to behave when somebody's logged in or logged out. And this is just the beginning, but another cool thing that you can do with this is extend it with something like make. This is still in the works, and I'm going to put out a new tutorial video about this soon, but you can set up what's called Firebase Cloud Functions so that whenever a new user is created, it can trigger any automation you want. I have one set up so that whenever somebody signs up, it'll add them to a Webflow collection that I have set up. And to just, how am I doing on time? Okay, so just to demonstrate how that would work, one of the ways you can create users is to just do it directly in Firebase like this. So if I wanted to just create one called Garrett at test.biz, and I'm just going to give it some arbitrary password, right? And if I click on add user, it's going to create that user. And then back in Webflow, if I just give it a little bit of time, I'll eventually see it here because the make function is going to run and trigger adding that unless it just broke in front of everyone, which would be a real shame.
This is how live demos work.
It really is, isn't it?
It was going too smoothly. It was going too smoothly.
Oh no! Look, everyone, it worked.
Okay.
Flawlessly. I just had to refresh the page. But like I said earlier, this is super basic still, but I think that it has a lot of potential to give people a little bit more freedom with their membership systems. Of course, memberships are going to be native in Webflow pretty soon, which is going to be ideal. But in the meantime, this gives us kind of like a third way to handle things. And if anyone's interested in tinkering with it, I think this could be a good way to break through the learning curve there.
That is super cool.
That is so cool. Yeah, I specifically love memberships. And just building that whole system is super fun to me. So this solution is amazing. I love it.
Thank you. I put the link to the Webflow, like to the tool, in the chat for anyone that needs it, and it has the link to the clonable in the tool, if anyone's curious.
Nice.
Awesome.
Fife is saying Unreal, great job, and Elsa is saying, "Oh, this might be exactly what I need." So yeah,
Thank
cool
y'all.
to see, folks. Anybody have questions for
something-
Garrett? And go ahead, Garrett, if you had a.
Oh, I was just gonna say that if you're using it, it might have a bug that I'm not aware of. So just DM me on Twitter or something, and I'll fix it.
Okay, I'm going to share this link in the chat. The YouTube folks are looking for this as well, so we'll put that up on screen for them. Is this the right one? Firebased.webflow.io.
Yes.
Great.
And I think somebody asked a question in the comments.
Yeah,
They've said, how do you save the user data when it's not gated content? I believe, are you asking about how to save like the user's account information?
Are you asking about how to
That should be
save
the same whether or not
like the user's account information?
they're
Are you asking about how
authenticated on the
Joseph,
front
can
end.
you mute yourself if you're not talking, please? Can we mute the mics in the auditorium here? I'm sorry, what were you saying, Garrett?
Yeah, by default, attributes that are given a symbol of whether or not it should be hidden or shown on login, these will be hidden by default so that there's no risk of something privileged showing for like a split second and then being hidden. It'll be hidden first, and then if they have permission, it'll show. And because it's using the visibility none attribute, it shouldn't be accessible even by going through the dev tools.
Nice. Okay, any other questions? If you're hanging out with us, yeah, just a reminder to please mute your mic if you're in the auditorium inside of Gather here. Appreciate that. There are 41 folks in here, so anybody else have questions for Garrett? And you can unmute yourself to ask a question. Okay, last call. Let's put a little.
Maybe I have just a little question about is in your plan also to integrate Firestore?
Yes, that's one of the things I find the most exciting about this is that if you are using it to trigger a flow in something like Zapier or Make has a built-in module for Firestore, which enables you to handle that entire process visually. You can also do it with the Firebase code, but my goal with Firebase is to spend as little time as possible in Firebase. So if you want to set this up with a database in Firestore, those modules have things built in for create a new doc, update a doc, delete a doc, and similar functionality for anything like Airtable. You could use this with WhaleSync, I think, and it could become a very powerful tool.
Yeah, because I think that with Firestore, now that is real time, with maybe Webflow, and the other one is Wizardio, if I'm right, for create like a connection.
Well, there's
instead of
Wiz,
Airtable.
and then there's Wizardry, which is Timothy Rix's.
No, the other one, to create like web app inside Webflow.
Wizzed, yes.
Wizzed, okay. Wizzed, Firestore, and Webflow. That would be, I think, the best.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, thank you all so much for just giving me a chance to show this.
Yeah, thanks for sharing your time and hanging with us here. We got 45 seconds for a final question for Garrett.
I just want to say that, Garrett, you have the most calming voice I've ever heard.
Oh,
It's
thank
such
you.
a nice voice.
Because I'm
Love it.
screaming on the inside. I'm actually quite nervous. But thank you.
Love
Well,
it.
you held it down publicly. I was going to say the same thing. You have a great voice for radio and sharing, and you should do some more videos and stuff. So, Okay,
appreciated.
Vladimir Petrosky is saying you just blew Make an Airtable out of the water. So on YouTube, you got a little comment there. Nice. Okay, Colleen, who is next?
So next up, we have Kevin Watkins, followed by Thiago, then Emily, and then Maria.
Nice. Okay, let's do it.
Awesome. Well, thanks guys for letting me share here. So yeah, I'm also, like earlier, just sharing my redesign of my business website, which is a web design. I don't say agency because it's just me, and it feels weird saying that. But yeah, we recently did a redesign. I just had the logo redone. So yeah, any feedback would be great on this.
Make the logo
feedback
bigger.
Sorry, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay,
Just
perfect.
kidding. Okay, bye.
Great. So yeah, we just rebuilt it, and yeah, things we've been trying to do more and more of is kind of like productize this a bit and streamline the services and really utilize the website to make it easier to, create websites in Webflow. We're now officially creating all our new ones in Webflow. Made the switch from WordPress to Webflow last year. So yeah, we've kind of got like a tight form here that feeds into our management system. Okay, cool. Of course. Well, usually that works. But yeah, we have our different services. We do website design, and then we have a bunch of monthly clients that can go in website maintenance. So definitely looking for ways to kind of streamline the maintenance of our monthly clients. So any tips there would be great. We just created a support form using ClickUp, which is our project management system. So that's really helped. And yeah, just overall looking for ways to make it better. So if anybody has any suggestions, we'd love to hear it. I've definitely noticed an SEO boost when I switched from WordPress to Webflow. I think it was early March, when I finally got around to mine. But yeah, we're actually getting like organic leads now, which I don't think I got any organic leads for the first 5 years the website was up. It was all referral based, and now people are finding it. And yeah, definitely tried to expand everything, making like industry pages and services. And yeah, I just listened to the niching podcast that you guys did, Raymmar, and yeah, I haven't quite gotten there with this, but I'd say if I did have a niche, it'd probably be locally in my city. But of course, we can take clients anywhere. So yeah, any feedback would be great.
Nice. Thank you for sharing. It looks very clean and tidy. I've been itching to get the critique shows back. If anybody remembers, we did these critique shows for a while where we'd like run through websites. And now that the streaming computer is all set up and ready to rock, it'd be good to bring those back. So I'll do a quick version of that here. My first thought is that you could use a little bit of color on this site outside of just your call to action. Everything, all your backgrounds is just white. So maybe breaking up some of your sections or adding some little visual breaks to kind of like pull you in different directions. I also just see a lot of this rectangular grid pattern. So there's just a little bit of repetitive nature to this. But I think it's very clean and open and easy to just add a couple of these embellishments. I think like you're so close to having a super standout site here. Anybody else? I'll share and let anybody else share thoughts. Melissa, anybody from the crowd want to give Kevin some feedback here?
Yes, I actually agree. I think that a little bit of texture or color would just make it break a little bit. Somebody said about making the slider stop when you hover on top of one of the projects, which I think could be a good idea. Um, yeah, I think just adding a little bit of color would break it up a little bit, and I echo Raymmar's comments about maybe thinking a little bit of outside the box with the layout, because now you're coming from WordPress, so you want to portray or you want to display all the awesome things that Webflow can do. And some of those things are just playing around with layout, animation, and just having complete creative freedom to do whatever you want on your website. So I feel like maybe just incorporating those elements into the site will just make you look completely different to what the current WordPress developers are offering.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I'm still definitely learning animation as I go. So yeah.
Yeah, but overall, I think it looks great. And if you're getting leads, that's what's important.
Great.
I'd love
Thank
to
you so
piggyback
much
on that if I may.
Yeah.
I think that there's a lot of pressure on designers to master that minimalist style because it is very vogue and it has been for a while. And I personally love it myself, but color would be wonderful to have here. And I also had one very small tip that has helped me a lot because I see that you're using a lot of drop shadows. I love drop shadows and playing with elevation. It's one of my favorite things. And something I've noticed is that when you have a really big variety of types of screens with different backlighting from LCD to LED to OLED and all of these different variations, on some screens, when you have a white surface on another white surface, basing the drop shadow on a black can actually kind of make it look a little yellowy, almost kind of like dirt. And it's not on every screen, but a way to avoid that is by actually having the drop shadow be a very desaturated blue, and then having the background itself also be an incredibly very slight off-white bluish, which when done properly can really, really help prevent that sort of smudgy look that can happen on some screens. I'm not seeing it on this though, just to be clear, but it can happen. And so if anyone ever gives you that feedback, it's something to think about. I got this from a YouTube tutorial that I can't remember how to find it, but I'll look for it and I'll drop the link in the chat just in case you're curious.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks so much.
All right. Any other questions there? And it's official. Garrett is now the host of Show and Tell. So I'm gonna step aside, and Garrett, you can take over with that mic. We're just gonna sit back and listen to your radio voice. I did want to send some love. Let's see. Somebody was saying good job on the lotties, the icons. So the animated menu icons were nice. So just a heads up there, Kevin. That was nice. Got a little bit of shout out on that. So
yeah, I think somebody asked where I got them from. It's Lord Icon.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's it for that one. Colleen, who's next? And then if anybody would like, let's see, we're about 40 minutes in. I think we got 3 or 4 more signed up so far, Colleen. If anybody's still interested, yeah, we've got some room, I think. So we'll share that form again in the comments here. And if you're watching on YouTube by chance, you can join us in Gather right now. There's 40 of us hanging out in Gather, dancing and throwing confetti all over the place. Let's all throw some confetti. And anybody need to stand up and stretch their legs, take a lap around the room. Yeah, there you go. Everybody just get up and stretch your legs a little bit. Okay. Who's next, Colleen?
So up next we have Thiago, followed by Emily, followed by Maria.
Nice. Okay, Thiago is going to
share. Hello, everybody.
What is Thiago sharing?
I'm not sharing yet.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Wait. Okay, now I'm sharing.
Great.
Do you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, first of all, I would like to thank the community. I'm learning Webflow. This is the second month, And this is the second project I am making in Webflow. And the community has been great. I don't know JavaScript either, and this second project has been a real challenge because I have needed to put a little bit of JavaScript in it, because I am building the user interface and the landing page for this virtual tour that I'm making of Barcelona Pavilion. This virtual tour is being made with another program called 3D Vista because as I don't know JavaScript, I cannot use 3JS, which probably would be the best option. But since I don't, I am trying to integrate these two technologies, Webflow and this other application. So I am building exactly this landing page with a little bit of some animations made by us, the background, etc. Then once you click in Discover the Experience, this background will be the virtual tour. It's not finished. You have here some history about the building, about the architects that made it, the location, which is not made yet. These buttons will interact with the virtual tour through JavaScript. And then we have this isonometry render of the pavilion with all of the points that you can visit of it, of the 360 pictures. And I've made these animations for each one of them with a different picture. And yeah, I would love to have your opinion and your feedback.
Okay, I absolutely love this. You killed it.
Oh, thank you.
I have a few comments.
Yeah.
So the first thing would be, I feel like the first image on the hero,
Yeah.
it's so powerful, and right now it's being overpowered by the opacity, so you can't really appreciate it. So I feel like as soon as the website loads, that picture maybe remove the opacity, give it a little bit of time for the opacity to go on, and then show the text, you know, because you really want to captivate your user. And right now we can't really see the beautiful decor and the space. So that's the first comment. And then the second comment on the part where you see the story about the building, I would add a little bit of space. Since you can already scroll up and down there, I would add a little bit of space so the text just has more room to breathe. And I think that would be all I would have to say. It's very beautiful, and congrats.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Can I ask, Thiago, is this service you're using for the 3D stuff, is that like something you've built? Is this an external service? Is this just an iframe embedded into Webflow? Tell me a little bit about the tech here.
Yeah, it's an external service. It is called 3D Vista. It's this one here. It is an application that you have to pay for in order to use it. It is to build virtual tours. The problem with this application is that they're, as they call it, skin, or for the builder of the UI is super limited. So I've been finding myself limited by it, and now I'm trying to build this to build the interface in Webflow, and I've already tried an experiment of interacting between the two of them. Basically, what I do is export my Webflow project and export my 3D Vista project, and they each give me an index.html file. So I basically just copy paste the Webflow HTML file into the 3D Vista one. And with a little bit of jQuery, I can interact between the two of them.
Nice. Very cool. Getting some shout outs in the comments. Kareem is saying, amazing job, Thiago, especially since it's only your second Webflow project. And you got same kind of vibes from Fife on YouTube. Huge points for just learning Webflow and getting this far. Incredible. So, yeah, what's inspiring this journey here? Is there a task you're trying to solve? Are you moving over from other platforms? Like, what brings you to Webflow here for this problems?
What brings us to Webflow? Yeah, I started building websites with WordPress, and as 3D Vista, I find myself pretty limited by it, and even design a stage of the website. I was limiting the design because of what I knew the limits of WordPress were. So once I started with Webflow, something just unlocked in me.
Nice.
And I started doing and experimenting with a lot of different designs and animations that I just couldn't do before.
Nice. Sounds
That's
like a familiar
awesome.
story.
Wow.
Anybody else have questions for Thiago about this 3D functionality here, or just in general?
Everybody's just loving how this is your second Webflow project.
We want a tutorial.
They want a tutorial.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
We all want it.
I will try to make it.
Nice. Okay,
Awesome.
thank you so much, Thiago.
Thank you.
All right. Who is next? I think it's is it Emily? Is it our favorite design lead podcast coming up here? All right. Let's see. Hang on one second. Claudia's asking, can you share the link to it? Was late to the party. So Thiago, can you share the link in the chat here? And then Emily, the stage is all yours.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. Okay. Screen share. Blah, blah, blah. You should be able to see my screen in a second. Is it working yet?
It's loading right now.
Okay. Cool. Should be. Yeah, let me know when it connects. Seems like it's taking a while to share screens. Oh,
Yeah.
there we go.
Okay.
Okay. Can't access my screen share input. Please check your operate. Oh,
Oh, you might have check your Google settings. I don't know.
weird. Can I go next then and just try to figure that out so I don't take up your time?
Yeah, we can do that.
Awesome. Okay, I'll do that.
Okay. So Colleen, who's stepping up here? Is this Maria?
So this would be Maria. Are you ready, Maria?
I hate this new UI. I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find that.
I agree. Gather changed everything up on us.
It took me a while to find out what everything was. So you're seeing the screen I'm seeing. It's right.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So for the few people by now that haven't seen this, this is a 3D Galaxy I did in 3JS. It was part of the 3JS Journey course by Bruno Simon. And what I wanted to show you for the people that they don't really know how they could change things and use it, because I have a version without the controls here, was to the top right, you see the controls. And the controls basically are a visual representation, so you can then go and input everything into code and have the result you want. Because otherwise you have to publish and go back, and it's a pain. So I want to show you how you could change, let's say here, and make it weird, and how you can change it. So let's say I like this awful color I chose, you copy it, and then you can go into the code is in the pages before body tag. It's everything here if you clone the project. And here you see the parameters. And they're basically, I don't know if you see my mouse, but it's everything you can see in the GUI. It's here. So it's count, size, radius, everything here. So if I want to change the color, I would just go where it says inside color, replace it with the correct thing, which I didn't. Save and publish. I won't because it's a clonable and I'll mess it up. But basically, this is how you could update everything. And even if you don't want to use it, it's a good exercise to see how you can change things, how you can play around with Three.js. And in the end, it's almost like glittery and sparkly and nice. And that was it. I'm fast.
I've already told you, Maria, how much I love this project. Super, super awesome. So very excited you got to show everybody.
Anybody has any questions? Because apparently I have a lot of time when I'm presenting something. I'm fast.
I have a question. Is this the universe you spend most of your day living inside of, or what?
Yeah, possibly. Like, or sparkly and nice, you know?
Could you please repeat the name of the course that you said this was a part of?
It's Three.js. I'll write it also in the chat.
Thank you so much.
Journey by Bruno Simon. I think it's amazing. I've done like a third of it. It's huge. And it's actually, I really like him. He has like this really cool style. I'm pretty sure what I wrote is wrong. I'll check it. Three.js journey. It's good if you have some knowledge of JavaScript.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's totally wrong. The link I added there.
Oh, I think it's just in the link he spells out the word three.
Yeah.
Yeah, Maria got it.
When I saw it written, I was like, no, this is not right.
Thank you so much.
And I know he's presenting in the awards conference in Amsterdam in September. So if I manage to go, I'm going full on shaders there.
Are we gonna go or not? You said that you were gonna say if we were.
I don't know. If I have money, I'm going. It's like it's a 2 hours flight. You know.
Sell this project that you're doing, that you did, and you got the ticket right there.
He shared another project. He's really nice.
That's good.
Yeah. He's I think honestly his project's amazing.
They're asking for the link to the
we did it. It's like the 10th course or something. It's not that special. The implementation in Webflow though was interesting, and I'm trying to everything I build in his course to also apply and implement in Webflow.
Claudia. If you summarize 45 minutes into a 1 hour event, you can present it at Floxy's. Love it. Joel W., could you share the link to the clonable, please? So, Maria, can you share that in the chat here?
Sure.
Thiago is saying, I will have to follow you on learning Three.js so I can build my virtual tours directly on Webflow. There you go.
Yeah, I think I thought that you would be amazing in that course and your project would be amazing. We have the issue of the 10,000 characters.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Alrighty, let's see. Thank you so much.
It's a pretty nice sound, right?
Just remember to mute yourself if you're in the room here, please. Mute yourself while you're hanging with us. We appreciate it.
I think I have a solution to that I couldn't share my screen thing. Maria, would you be able to help me out as my screen sharer person if I send you a link?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, cool. Yeah, because
It's
it's still not
okay.
letting me, and I'm trying to figure out why. Yeah, so Maria, I sent the link in the chat.
Yes.
If you could share that and be my buddy.
I have to select the correct one. Do you see it?
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. So I was gonna show the whole like how I put it together and like Zapier and Airtable and everything, but this is the second best way of showing what I'm working on. Before Raymmar said that I have this podcast, it's the Great Design Lead podcast, and I love hanging out with people who are no code or UX or just have something cool that they're working on. And I realized that there's like a lot of people out there in tech and what we do that have all these really interesting stories, and they haven't been on podcasts before. And so I thought about making this project as an excuse to learn integrations and everything. And I wanted to have two lists of all these people in our world that would love to be on podcasts and talk about their projects. And then every day I reach out to podcasts to say, hey, I have all these great people. You should have them and they should tell their stories on your podcast. So right now it's a free resource for everyone. But yeah, just sharing this. And also I was in Floxy's the other day and I was talking to people about integrations, and a lot of people find it really intimidating and they don't even know where to start with it. And I'm just saying, like, hey, I felt that way too. I was totally like, I don't know, this is such like an aspirational thing for me to do one day. And then I was able to pull it off, and I got a lot of help and reached out to mentors and watched a lot of Connor Finlayson's YouTube channel, and I pulled it off. So if I can do it, you can do it. But the thing at the moment is like, hey, if you have a cool story, or if you just think that podcasts are fun and you might want to do it one day, you could make a profile, and then these podcasts that I've been reaching out to might reach out to you and say, hey, come on our podcast or come on our Twitter space or something like that. So yeah, that's the whole spiel, and that's all the time I need. So thank you, Maria. You saved the day.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
This is super, super cool, Emily. I had gone onto your site, and this is really like what it already exists for influencers, connecting them to brands. And it's such a smart approach since podcasts are so hot right now. And I'm sure a lot of people that don't get offered to be on a podcast would love to show their story. So that's super awesome. Congratulations in pulling that off. And then second, I think the website looks great. You have all of the information displayed. Maybe I would, well, I mean, with time, I know that right now it's not the focus, but with time, maybe it would be cool to have sort of like a more interesting showcase that maybe would make these people show up like a superstar, you know what I mean? That could be cool. But apart from that, really cool. Congrats.
When you say showcase, is that like the first landing page, like all of these people are here, or is it like like premium guests or something like that?
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe add some type of filter and give a little bit more information as to why they should interview these people. Maybe like a short bio of why they have a cool story, you know, because that's what people are looking for on podcasts.
Gotcha.
You know?
Yep. Maria, could you go to explore guests and then just pick on a random person just to show what the profile pages look like? But yeah, that's really helpful. Thank you.
Of course.
That was not random.
Yeah, and this is a little wide. Maybe I need to work on that. But yeah, the whole filtering thing is something that I'm doing next, and I'm definitely going to be leaning on Finsweet for that. So
yeah, like imagine if in that person, Zach or Rohan, we had a short description as to like why this person has a really interesting story.
Mm-hmm.
So right then and there, you already have the elevator pitch, and it'll be easier for the podcasters to say, okay, this story resembles my topic or the topics that I cover on my podcast.
Gotcha. Thank you. Appreciate your
You're
time.
welcome. Of
Also, my
course.
screen is very
Thank you so
wide.
much.
It's a big screen. So normal screens will have a better, it will look better.
Thank you. Yeah, I noticed my social media really big. I'm like, maybe that should be pixels. Maybe I need to adjust that.
It's not huge. It's an iMac 27.
Emily, you're getting
Oh,
a
thanks.
shout out from Elsa on
Thanks for the
YouTube.
advice
The
in the
updated site
comments.
design
Oh,
looks
thank you.
amazing. So.
Yeah, that's enough for me.
Okay,
I'll get off
thank you,
stage.
Emily. Appreciate you sharing. What will be cool about these events is to watch some of these projects evolve over time. So I could imagine Emily coming back in a few months and sharing updates on progress, or you know, some of the 3D stuff, or I don't, any of these products would be cool to see that stuff over time kind of evolve these products. So anyway, who's next, Colleen?
So next up we have Lucas, then Demetrius, then John Saxton, and then I see Shane Grady just submitted, and I think that's actually probably going to put us at the 90-minute mark.
Okay, nice. Okay, perfect. Yeah, and if you got a dip, we appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by. We've still got a nice little squad on YouTube too. I don't know how many of those folks are also in Gather with us, but we've got about 40 in Gather with us as well right now. So, okay. Is it Lucas? Who was next? I'm sorry, I forget the name. I should have the queue up in front of
Hello, guys.
All
Yeah,
right.
I think it's me.
Lucas, you're up. Step up on the stage, in the middle of the stage, if you wouldn't mind, and we'll start the timer as soon as you get going.
All right. So, okay, let me try to share my screen here. I'm using the app on, I've never done this, but I think shouldn't be very complicated. Can you see?
Yes.
Oh, the Chrome window is not showing though. On my, let me try to share on my, because I have two monitors here.
Maybe choose like window instead of, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, what are you guys seeing? Escape screen one. I'm trying to. Do you see my Google Chrome window?
We see the Gather window.
Yep, I do.
Gather or Chrome?
I see your options for share your screen.
That's.
But it doesn't look like it's actually showing Chrome on the screen either, though. It just shows Gather and then a blank screen.
Oh, okay. It seems I have to give access to the on my Mac.
Okay, so
I can either be next or yeah, maybe I should be next.
Yeah, why don't we do this? Why don't we jump somebody else in front of the gap there? If you haven't seen on Twitter, shout out to...
Yeah, that's what I did. And then I just sent the link to a friend.
Nice. Shout out to Penny, Daniel, and who else is the other one? Is it Jeremy? For live tweeting. There's some folks live tweeting some of these. So if you're presenting, if you're hanging out, if you're on Twitter, you've probably been tagged. So shout out to the folks on Twitter who have been helping us keep that story along. And what we'll do is let's get somebody else up, and then Lucas, maybe we'll give you a second to figure that out, and we'll come back to you.
So Demetrius, are you able to make it to the stage?
Yeah, what?
Yay,
I'm having issues with Gather. I don't know if anyone else is.
Okay, I'm on stage.
All right, Demetrius, you're up.
What do I have to do? Like screen share, okay. Screen one, window, Chrome tab. So, do you see everybody what I see?
Yep.
Yes.
So, hi, I'm Demetrius. I come from Greece. Hello to everybody. I didn't make it to the no-code gathering space you did with Finsweet about 2 weeks ago. And I was very, very jealous of everybody writing about this. So this is my first time here. Nice to meet you all. The project I'm about to showcase to you is a redesign of a luxury fashion website of a brand located in Greece. They make super luxury and super finest quality silk products for women mainly. And because of my relevant background, for you that you may not know me, I'm a doctor. I'm a dentist actually. I'm here for feedback because I have nobody else to judge my work. Here is the website. So this when somebody enters the website. It's using the Finsweet client first with some heavy modifications with for this absolute positioning of the elements. Here is somebody going like towards the end of the website, the overall experience. The website is made by stealing or is inspired by many great luxury websites I found on the internet. Also here we're using Finsweet filters. They're too powerful actually. What else? The lookbook probably was the most demanding for me. Here I wanted to replicate when you're going to a shop and you're watching the lookbook and you open it. This is the natural behavior that you would go through a lookbook. What else am I supposed to say right now?
The functionality inside. What do we have inside?
Like buying something?
Like no, like so it's an e-commerce site. We have CMS.
We have it's CMS, yeah. What else? I don't know what to say.
Okay, I can help if you want.
You can help me, yeah.
Okay, so I had a lot of insights with Demetrius on this project, and this was insane that this was his first project because it's so dense. So this has e-commerce, it has CMS, animations, special positioning items. He really just gave himself to this project, and I am so proud of him because really the resilience that he has is just incredible. For one person to do this like the first time is just insane. So yeah, I thought that it was important to know all the functionalities that this has. He was taking Joseph Sperry's course and used a lot of the animations there, and you know, to get animations to look very classy and elegant, it's hard. So I think that was great for him to achieve. And yeah, we would love to hear your
I don't know how premium they look actually, but hopefully they look very premium because it is a very premium brand with when we talk about Greece at least.
Yeah.
The pictures are great.
It looks very good.
Yeah, the pictures.
The
really,
pictures are,
really help.
the brands itself. They're paying like too much money for the pictures.
Yeah, I think the images help a lot.
This is the only custom. This is a section that I made. This is a staggered animation with JavaScript with intersection observer, and I was looking how to to make a stagger animation with CMS items because they usually animate all at the same time. And this uses the native JavaScript observer API. So yeah, that was like the coolest thing I can brag about.
You can brag about the whole thing.
That's it. I don't know what else to say.
Does anybody have any questions or thoughts for Demetrius here?
I have a comment. Bravo, Dimitri.
Sorry, Maria. Super weird.
Yeah, I had to go Greek. You know, it's two of us.
we are two now. Yeah. That's all. That's all I have to show you.
Nice.
Somebody asks, Claudia, how long did it take you to build it?
Claudia, yeah, a lot. 3 to 4 months, but I had to, because I didn't know anything about design, I didn't know anything about coding, anything about Webflow. I had to like put everything together, all the tutorials, all the designs, Figma, YouTube videos, Raymmar, Finsweet, everything together. And that took a long time.
Nice.
Are you using native Webflow e-commerce or did you export to Shopify with Udesly?
Lucas, just the Webflow e-commerce, but one thing that we were talking about, Melissa, was that here in Greece, and as she told me also in Colombia, because we are Greece at least is a poor country with and we don't trust the online sellers. We always pick cash on delivery options, and this is what Webflow doesn't give the option to have in native e-commerce. So probably if I would have done it for like another person, probably I wouldn't go that way, because cash on delivery in Greece is like 90% of the customers.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anybody has more comments?
I have a question. What did you do for the like delivery and setup for e-commerce? Because I know that's pretty limited on Webflow.
I haven't done anything actually about delivery. The ESOP is a case study. It's a case study for a friend of mine. I don't know what I would do if we want that route, actually. But you mean for custom delivery or for general?
Oh, just like the e-commerce, the shipments and all that stuff.
I don't know, Josh. Actually, I don't know. Hopefully I will learn very soon about this stuff. But for this project, I don't have any insights.
Yeah, it's very tricky.
Thanks,
for
Josh.
that, there could be a little hack, but it's not the best option, and it's to create
discount codes.
No, like one of the options for the checkout could be transfer, like ACH transfer, and just let them choose that, confirm the order. Once the store receives the order, they do kind of like deliver and then pay right there on spot. That's what we used to do in Colombia. So the order just goes through as $0 or zero whatever currency it is, if they choose that option. And then once the order is or arrives at the location of the customer, that they pay cash, and then manually they fulfill the order back in the back end, the admin. It's a little manual, you know, but it is possible if you wanted to do it.
Or probably you can use something like Foxy, I have seen, and these kind of ESOP enhancing platforms.
Yeah.
Nice.
Gotcha.
Okay, Demetrius, can you share your link in the chat so that we can send that out to YouTube? Somebody was asking on the YouTube channel. about that.
Yes, Raymmar, nice to meet you. Like for real.
Great to meet you as well. Yeah, this is fun for me to get to hang out and chat with some of y'all and see these projects.
For me now, it's unbelievable that this is happening. Nice to meet you. So,
alrighty, well, I appreciate that, Demetrius. Thank you for sharing, and we're gonna go back to Lucas, I think, at this point. Sounds like he's got a screen sharing. Elsa, I'm gonna share this in the chat. That's emsilk123.webflow.io. And Lucas, if you're ready. Demetrius, if we can have you jump off the stage there and kill your screen share, we'll have Lucas jump up, and yeah, let's do it. Oh, nice with the mask.
Okay, so hello again, guys, and thanks for the opportunity for the show and tell. It's very good to be able to share what we're working on and have feedback from so many people in the industry. So I'm going to present, this is actually my first Webflow project. It's not done yet because I'm taking so much time on it due to indecisions, and it's for a brand that's it's kind of like a Starbucks in Brazil, but with like lots of plants, and they also kind of like a restaurant. They serve drinks, they serve brunch. It's called Botanic Cafe. So first I'm going to show the original one that I made in WordPress before I learned Webflow. And then I'm going to show what I'm turning it into because I wasn't fully satisfied with the WordPress design, but the client loved it. So this is, are you guys able to see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is the WordPress one, and the client actually loved it, but since I wanted to have something really nice for my Webflow portfolio, I'm working on making it even better. And there's no deadline on this one, so like that's why I'm taking forever. So it's very, they're minimalistic, so I'm trying to make things very clean, you know, and adding some elements like these plants illustrations to match the vibes of their environment. And here in this version, there's some parallax, you know, some subtle interactions. My screen is kind of laggy right now. I'm gonna send the link so you guys can properly see it if you want. So this is the one I had made in WordPress. And right after that, I found out about Webflow, so I decided to start from scratch there. So this is what I'm gonna present. So that's, I'm liking this one better. I took some time to research. Like I was using their logo typeface before, as you could see in the WordPress version, but I thought it was looking too like very unpersonal, you know, like not very friendly for the kind of vibes that they offer. So this is the Webflow one, and I hope to get some feedback from you guys. Here there's a, you know, native Webflow slider with some pictures of some of their meals and what they offer, the place. It's on auto slide scroll too. And here I'm still missing the plants illustration on the sides, but I did some improvements, and I like this version a lot better, you know. I did it using Finsweet's client first. Ever since I started Webflow, I learned Finsweet's client first, and so I started right away with client first, and I'm using Radium too for this one. So some of the elements are very Radium standard, and some I'm customizing, and I still got some work to do here. And I'm actually have a very challenging menu to build for this one, because they have coffee menu, they have drinks menu, they have the brunch menu, and also wine. So I'm hoping that I don't know a lot about Finsweet's attributes, but I know that's probably going to be the way to do it the best. So yeah, that's how I think I'm gonna do the menu, and I'm gonna start the menu right after this presentation because I promised the client that I was gonna show them the menu today. So yeah, that's it. I'm gonna send the link here, and I'd love to hear some feedback or any questions if you might have.
Nice.
Okay, I'm taking a look here, but I love it. I feel like I've loved all of them, but this is really, really something that I would do also. One thing that I would say is maybe, do you feel like maybe having those top rounded corners would work also for the second section where it's like the feature cards, just so everything is standardized, you know what I mean? Like, since you have the hero like that, and then you also have the blog cards, then maybe feature sections should also follow that style.
Yeah, I thought about that, but I wasn't too sure if it would look like very repetitive, you know? Like you can see that I'm trying a button with just like rounded corners on the right for this one, and here on rounded. So I'm experimentation with variations, but that's definitely because they do have these rounded corner style on their architecture, you know.
Yeah,
so,
I love
yeah,
that.
Thank you for your feedback. I'm probably gonna test that on these other sections here too.
Yeah, I think that sometimes when we're designing, we want to just make it more interesting. We end up adding stuff that it's really not even necessary. So I would just try maybe standardizing them and see how it looks, and maybe everything would just flow. Because sometimes you look in one section and it's square, then you look on the other one and it's rounded, and it could be a little confusing for the user. So maybe I would just try that. But apart from that, it's absolutely gorgeous. Love the images, love the color. I love that change of font you used on the heading. I'm a super fan of that font.
Oh, thank you very much, Melissa. Very glad to hear that from you.
My pleasure.
Yeah, I tend to agree with trying to unify some of those elements. And also maybe even experimenting with a little bit of asymmetry. You have asymmetry in the rounded curves up top versus the square in the bottom. And so it may be good to see some of that asymmetry on other elements. It doesn't necessarily have to be the same 2 top corners rounded and 2 corners on the bottom square, but you should come up with some kind of language that's repeatable. And so I know, hey, if I'm at this kind of button, the left side square and the round side's rounded. And if I'm on this element, then this side's rounded and this side's square. But I should kind of have some level of consistency between those elements visually so that it doesn't look like a kind of a broken design language.
Okay, thank you very much, Raymmar.
Yeah. Then let's say Aida is also saying, yes, great design and love the grainy background. Nice. Okay.
Oh, nice. I'm glad that could be perceived, because it's very, like, I can barely see it in my on my monitor, you know, but like it makes a different feeling than just like a flat color.
Yeah.
I can see it perfectly on mine, and it looks beautiful.
Aida was saying they went to the link, and then let's see, Lewis is saying I would play around with the textures some more. Nice. There you go. So there's some good feedback for you that you can take into consideration as you go through here. So okay, so let's see. I saw something from Colleen. Next up is John, and is that John Saxon? And then we have 2 more. So we have John and then Shane, and then we are done for today. So John and Shane, I'm gonna try to get through these within 10 minutes, and we will call this a wrap. So Lucas, if you could kill your screen share, and then John, you're up whenever you're ready. Is John still with us?
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Lucas. Okay, maybe John is no longer here. Going once, John. Going twice, John, the stage is yours. Going 3 times, John, the stage is yours. Sold. John's gone. Okay. Must be pressing to win. So Shane Grady, it looks like you're up.
Last but not least. Let me get my screen share here one moment. All right, we'll just do the whole screen. So this was a website that I did in conjunction with LG to commemorate a 3-year partnership between a nonprofit company and I work for. So it was a little bit of a chop shop. So took pieces from many different website templates. I have a nice little timeline here.
I've seen this in the
Shouldn't
showcase.
say little. Right here, we have a little counter up function. Each one counts up from the last year. Then we featured a few different case studies here. Nice little animations. This was part of their happiness campaign using 6 different skills. So as you spin, you'll see that they change. And then the main company, Inner Explorer, has a lot of symbolism with compasses, as you'll see with their logo here. So we tried to embody that in the website. This was taken from Apple's website. Nice little scroll here. These should actually also be playable. Not sure if today will be my lucky day. And then that's that. Right here, we also have testimonials from each of the students. You'll also notice this is familiar to Apple when they did International Women's Day, I believe. So once you hover on each one, the rest will go out of focus, and then the picture will go from black and white to colored. So a nice little touch. And that's that. I think I'm also very fast here, but keeping it nice and short and sweet.
Nice.
Cool.
Okay. Thanks for sharing. Melissa?
Thank you. Okay, so I think it's super cool, everything you did there. I would just be very careful about using multiple clonables in one project, because then it kind of becomes a lot of animation and sort of a little bit hard to follow. But apart from that, I think, you know, it's very cool, everything you did there. And I think if you use them, like if you used maybe one in each page and then divide this whole website into 3-4 pages, sort of giving the user an experience for each one of them, that would be really cool, you know, and it'll keep everything separated and just give them more of a wow factor every time they open a new page. And it's like, okay, now it's the timeline, this is the skills, and so on and so forth, you know?
Yeah, I always go back and forth on websites where I don't need to continue doing work, because that's where I really feel like the design systems like Finsweet's Client First shine through, is when you're adding new pages. But for something like a microsite where I'm never going to add or change anything after a later date, that's when I typically fall back on a little bit of a chop shop design. So.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I use clonables too, but I did notice one time, for example, with me, that I was just mixing stuff just to have very cool animations in them, and it just became like too much for me, you know what I mean? Which is why I kind of noticed that there and thought it would be cool to break it up. But really cool. Awesome.
Thank you. Some good feedback.
Nice. Okay. Anybody else with some questions or thoughts for Shane? All right. Well, I guess that brings us to the conclusion of our April show and tell, right at 90 minutes too, right at the 90-minute mark. So great job, Shane. I recalled earlier it was Victoria is the other person who was doing the live tweeting. So thank you, Penny, Daniel, and Victoria. Appreciate your sharing these things on Twitter. So if you've presented today and provided a Twitter hashtag, there should be some tweets awaiting for you. And maybe everyone can go and share those and engage with those. We'll all give some follows and some likes, etc. I think that's about it. Any thoughts? Any final thoughts here? Colleen, Melissa, anybody from the crowd? We still got a few hanging on YouTube, and we've got 30 here in the space. So yeah, what do you think? Show and tell is officially over. What are your final thoughts here, Colleen, Melissa? Let's start with Colleen.
I think this has been our best one yet. So thank you for everyone for presenting and for everyone who helped make today's event happen. If you're looking for what somebody presented, so say tomorrow you're thinking, oh gosh, there was that great site, where was it, what was it, who did it, check the Airtable base, because that does have names, and it also does have the links that were provided today, so that can maybe help track that person down, as well as folks' Twitter links if they were active on Twitter. I would be curious if you could just put in the chat. I'm noticing that we've had a little bit of trouble with Gather today. It seems like that's happening with screen sharing or when someone's going off the stage. So just as a kind of a diagnostic, maybe for troubleshooting, that would be great to have. But thank you everyone for coming. Curious to hear thoughts from Melissa. We'd like to have her be co-host today. So thank you for that.
Of course. I loved it. I love seeing what other people are building. With Demetrius, for example, like I totally loved going with him through the process. So seeing what everybody is building is super, super awesome. And I know that sometimes we feel like with a design or with a website that we develop, like we're not sure if we're doing it right, if people are gonna like it. So these spaces are so important if you want to get that feedback, you know. And then, you know, sometimes it doesn't happen on the actual event, but afterwards, you know, if somebody gave you some feedback, reach out to them and ask them, hey, what else do you think I could do here? So yeah, I think that it was super awesome.
Yep, typically the second.